screen?
So this is where it will boot up to when you press the on button. This screen you can have like a laptop, or you can move the screen like this. I quite like it down here. And then most buttons, you've got the touchscreen version, and you've also got the standalone buttons. So the 5 main ones, gain is here, the dial, which is the traditional style gain, but you've also got gain on the bottom of the screen here that you can go backwards and forwards. Your depth is here. You can use the arrows, zoom out, zoom in, but it's also on the touchscreen here. So if you want to come into 5 centimeters, it's just there. TGC, there's no actual buttons. It's set up here. So this is your time gain compensation, and the touchscreen's really receptive. Your focus that you normally have is AI on this system. So you'll notice the focus would usually be on here. On cardiac probes, there is a focus, but on all the others, the AI focuses the whole screen from the probe surface all the way down to the bottom. If you can't find a button, this button here is the main menu. There's a whole heap of screens here when you're in this menu, but on the first screen, this is your frequency here. So it's on general at the moment. You've got resolution, general, penetrate. Then they're the main buttons that you're going to use. So you've also got a freeze button here, and you can also freeze here. So unfreeze and freeze here. Same as saving an image. So when you freeze and save, you can press the button. It'll give you a beep so you know it's done. Or you can do it on here. Here's the save button here. So it's saving another image there. When you're frozen is when you do all your post-processing stuff. So you've got a measure button, but you've also got measure on the touchscreen. So traditional way to do measurements is press the measure, use the trackball as a cursor, and then your set button is on the right. So you set the first one, and then the second one, you've got your measurement. You can move these to wherever you want on the screen. If you prefer them on the right, you can put them on the right. What I do now with the measurements is use the measure on the screen here. Oh, sorry, freeze it first. Measure. It will give you the cursor on the screen. Place it with your finger. So notice I'm not touching the actual cursor, and I can move that around the screen, and it gives me a magnifying glass on the left. Place that, tap the screen anywhere, it drops it. Then you don't have to put your finger on it again, put it wherever, and then it will move with your finger. So my finger's not in the way of what I'm looking at, and you've also got the magnifying glass. So you can be really precise with your measurements. And tap again, and then you've got your measurement.
Annotations.
Annotations, you can use the touchscreen one, or there's programmable buttons along here. So P1, 2, 3, and 4, it tells you down the bottom of the screen what they are. So P2 is comments, which is annotations. So if I press P2, it changes to the comments. So I can use the trackball if I don't like touchscreens and click on liver, and then I can put the liver on the screen here. What I tend to do now is I use the touch screen almost exclusively. So I'll press on duodenum, and then if I want to move it to wherever on the screen, I can just drop it there. Unfreeze, and then all your annotations and measurements disappear. So make sure you press save after you've done your post-processing stuff. Yep. Videos. Again, you've got 2 buttons. So I use the touchscreen one. Press it. It's set for 20 seconds at the moment, but if I want to stop it after 5 seconds, I just press it again. I'll again get the beep, and that's saved in here. This one's the video. You've also got, so the cine is P1. So if I want to press it here, it's doing the same thing. But the touchscreen I find is much easier. Then your color, you've got a color button here, or the C is the same thing. So press it, you can change this with your fingers to change the size of the box. The bigger this box, the lower the frame rate in the background. And then you can move it, touch in the middle of the box to move it around, or touch on the outside to change the size of the box. Press it again and you're back to B mode. Touchscreen, you can use and zoom in on it. So just remember the probe's still doing all this work. So rather than, like if you've got a little spleen at the top here, you would decrease your depth so that you have a bigger spleen on the page, but you can like you do with your iPad, is just use the 2 fingers to zoom in and out to get a closer look at the structure. You have a zoom button here, like a proper dial, if you don't want to use your fingers also. Stop. So this is where it boots up to. So setting up the exam, along the left-hand side are all the buttons that you want. So the first one is entering the patient details, the type of exam you want. This scan, this is your archive where all your images are kept, and then you can do reporting, but that's better through PACS. So if you click on animal, you can attach a wireless keyboard. USBs are on the side here, and then you can have a keyboard. If you get a really small one, it'll actually fit at the top here, but I tend to prefer the touchscreen. If you like touchscreens, click on the field that you want, and then type away, and you can go through the list here. If you have set this comes with Wi-Fi, DICOM and worklist, all free of charge. If you've set it up to a PACS and you're sending the patient information from your practice management software, it will come in the worklist. So you click on the worklist. We haven't connected this one up, but you will have all your patients sitting here for the day. You click on them, it'll take you to the next field, which is the exam. You select the preset that you want. We're doing a small dog, and then that automatically goes into the scan page. So DICOM is the format, the medical format that you send the images on. So no matter if it's ultrasound, X-ray, CT, etc., they're all in DICOM format. If you want to send the patient data, which has DICOM tags, so the little tags on that file which identify it, you can send it from the patient management system via a PACS, picture archiving communication system, to the modality, and that's where they come up on this work list. So it'll say Fluffy, and it'll have all of Fluffy's details. And then from that work list, you do your study. When you press end exam, it will send it to the PACS and store the DICOM files in the PACS, and then it will send thumbnails, usually depending on the PACS, it should send thumbnails to the patient file and attach them to the correct patient file. And depending on the patient management system, you can set up billing triggers, etc. for the exam. So the main PACS systems are Asteris, WebPACS, and then VetRocket is another up and comer. It boots up to the scan page. I generally start, and I might change so the default is this little star, so it's medium. I prefer small, just because you start at 6 centimeters and the frequency is higher. So the higher the frequency, the better the resolution, but you lack penetration. So as you have to go deeper into the tissue, you need to drop the frequency down. So this probe is 11 to 3. So at the highest frequency, you're scanning at 11 megahertz, but you'll only see the top 6 centimeters. As you drop it down to 3, you'll be able to see 12 centimeters, but the resolution in the near field won't be as good as if you were scanning at 11.
I'll just record this bit.
So the microconvex, you can use intercostally to get black and white images of the heart. It's very good for looking for pericardial effusions, which is when there's fluid around the heart. And you can look at the basic structures of the heart in black and white. You can see the valves moving. Where it struggles because of the crystal matrix is color and Doppler. So that's when you use a cardiac probe, because it's much more sensitive for color and Doppler. The images are more grainy, because that's traditionally what cardiac images look like with the cardiac probe. So this, like if you're looking just at the walls of the heart, it actually looks nicer, but you get more information when you use a cardiac probe.